Hi viewers, welcome to the Grammar Channel. Today we are going to listen to some fairyland stories. The Balloon Pipe. Once upon a time, there lived an elf who was very fond of blowing bubbles. I don't know whether you all like blowing bubbles too, but if you do, you will know how happy the elf was to sit blowing bubbles in the sunshine all day long. The elf's name was Tiny because he was very small. He wasn't much bigger than your smallest doll. He had a great many bubble pipes, some as small as an acorn cup and some as large as your own pipes. He would have been perfectly happy if only his bubbles hadn't burst. I blow such beauties, wailed Tiny. I blow such big ones. And just as they all get the colors of the rainbow into them, they go pop, just like that. And then I don't see them anymore. It's too bad. Tiny tried very hard to blow bubbles that did not burst. He blew some fine, strong ones one day. They left the pipe when he shook them off gently and went floating away into the air, shining like a rainbow. But sooner or later, a little pop came and the bubbles were gone. It was really disappointing. The children would so much like to put them on a string and play with them, thought Tiny. But what is the use of bubbles that burst if you touch them? No use at all. No good to play with, no good to blow. I'm really just wasting my time. Now one day Tiny came across the pixie who paints the chestnut buds with glue in the winter. I expect you have felt how sticky the chestnut buds are, haven't you? They stick to your fingers as soon as you touch them. Sticky the pixie had a little orange pot of glue. He called to Tiny. Hello, Tiny. Blown any bubbles today? I've got plenty of time to spare till I begin to paint the buds. I'll come and watch you. So the pixie watched the elf. Tiny looked at the pot of glue. Why do you paint the chestnut buds with that? He asked. It seems such a funny thing to do. Do the trees like it? Of course, said Sticky. Don't you know that the frost can pinch the chestnut buds if they are coated with glue? It's an awfully good idea. Tiny blew a marvelous bubble. It burst just as he was taking a breath to blow it bigger. That was beauty, said Sticky. Blow another. Tiny blew another. That burst too. He blew a third, and it left the bubble pipe and went floating through the air to Sticky. He put out a hand in delight to catch it, but it burst and covered him with wetness. It's an awful waste of bubbles, isn't it? Said Tiny sadly. I wish I could catch them and do something with them when I have blown them. Now watch Sticky. I can sometimes blow 2 or 3 bubbles inside one another. It's pretty to see. Tiny blew down his bubble pipe. A bubble came, he blew again, and another little bubble grew inside the first. He blew again, and a third bubble came inside the second. Oh, how lovely! Cried Sticky. What a pity you can't stick them all together, Tiny, and make one nice strong bubble of them. Then maybe they wouldn't burst. Oh, Sticky, what a marvelous idea, cried Tiny, taking his mouth away from the end of the pipe. What about your magic glue? Couldn't you use that? Of course, cried Sticky, and he ran to the pipe where the 3 bubble stick shook and quivered. In a try, Sticky had stuck them all tightly together, his glue, so that they looked like one strong, thick bubble. Then Tiny shook the bubble off into the air. The breeze took it and up it went, away, and it didn't burst. Wasn't it marvelous? It floated away over the trees till it was lost to sight. Tiny and Sticky stared at one another in delight. We have found something to stop bubbles from bursting, cried Tiny. I will blow some more and you can stick them together. Come along. So, all that day, Tiny and Sticky worked hard together and made bubbles that did not burst. They were so very pretty. There were blue ones and green ones, yellow ones and orange, red ones and purple ones, and some that were all colors mixed up together. Sticky took hold of one and tied a string to it. I shall have it for mine, he said. This is my own tame pet bubble. How lovely to have a bubble that does not burst. Oh, I do so like it, Tiny. Tiny took one home too. His was a green one with a red string. It bobbed on the air behind him. Everyone stared in surprise. Look, he has got a tame bubble that doesn't burst, cried everyone. Oh, Tiny, can we have one too? We'll pay you a penny for one. Dear, dear, Tiny pricked up his pointed ears when he heard that. A penny? A time for a tame bubble? Oh, what a lot of money he and Sticky would have made together. They would begin that the very next day. So they did, and goodness me, what a lot of people came to buy their bubbles. Tiny's money bag was so heavy that he could hardly lift it. I should think I should think the boys and girls out in the big world would love to play with these, said Sticky. Let's send them some at Christmas time. So they did, and I hope you like their tame bubbles, children. Of course, you know what they are, don't you? The balloons that you love so much. But remember, they are really only like bubbles and will go pop if you blow them up too big or catch them on anything sharp. So be careful of your tame bubbles next time you have one.